Greyscale's win against the SEC yesterday. Was it really that big of a deal? Welcome back. We're all very euphoric on the news, the Greyscale news from a couple of days ago that caused the Bitcoin pump. Now let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this news a little bit more closely. Okay. So first we got this tweet out of BitcoinNews.com, right? Just in, Bitcoin rises almost $1,000 on the news. Greyscale wins their lawsuit against the SEC. Unfortunately, a little bit of a misleading headline, and I'll dive into why. All right, we got this article out of Cointelegraph. Grayscale wins SEC lawsuit for Bitcoin ETF review. Doesn't that sounds a whole lot different than Bitcoin rises almost $1,000 on the news. Grayscale wins their lawsuit against the SEC, huh? Yeah, it doesn't sound as totally amazing, does it? Anyways, here we go. Crypto asset manager Greyscale Investments has scored a major victory against the United States Securities and Exchange Commission in its efforts to convert its over-the-counter Greyscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, into a listed Bitcoin exchange traded fund, ETF. The SEC rejected its GBTC application on grounds that the products were not designed to prevent fraudulent and manipulative acts and practices. It's such a hard time to read this with a straight face. It's just so pathetic and sad because, obviously we've seen the problems that have happened in the financial system. We've seen banks simply just pay to play. We've seen institutions launder money time and time again. And the SEC, though, they're looking out for the little guy, right? We're afraid the GBTC is being manipulated. It's like, have you looked in your own garden, sir? It's just so ridiculous. Okay. Anyways, Grayscale subsequently sued and the decision has been overturned. According to August 29th court filings, U.S. Court of Appeals Circuit Judge Naomi Rayo ordered Grayscale's petition for review be granted and the SEC's order to deny the GBTC listing application be vacated. Previously, Judge Rayo said that the SEC did not offer any explanation as to why Grayscale was in the wrong. The order does not guarantee the eventual listing of a Grayscale spot Bitcoin ETF. There is obviously speculation that this particular judgment does bode well for the eventual approval of a Bitcoin ETF, and we are seeing some speculation that it would be towards the end of 2024, which, and again, this is just pure hopium, but that does kind of line it up with the bull run, the subsequent bull run that takes place after the halving. So when we see this initial hopium news, right, and we get all excited, and it's like, it's, you know what, the titles, right, the headlines, they're going to be misleading. We always have to dig into it a little further. I mean, don't get me wrong, but when I saw the price movement, when, we shot up from like 25.9 to like 27 something, and I read the news about GBTC, and I was like, oh, okay, so I mean, an ETF didn't actually get approved. And again, I am not cheering the Wall Street robots coming in and doing what they do to the markets for themselves. So I am not, I'm not a proponent of that. For me, Bitcoin is about the censorship resistance, the fact that the government cannot touch it. And the reason why I'm about those things is because I have had the banking system debank me. So I completely understand what it's like to be left with no fucking money to buy groceries or pay your bills. It's happened to me. So yeah, I want a money that the government can't fuck with. And to me, this is why Bitcoin wins. But unfortunately, we've all had so much brainwashing, right? And of course, one of the only metrics that we have, whether we agree with it or not, whether we agree with it or not, is NGU, number go up. And the reality is that if people really want other people to pay attention, then sadly, you do need the number to go up. Okay. And this isn't a problem with Bitcoin. This is about us as humans, right? It really has nothing to do with Bitcoin, but essentially the number going up is a visual representation, a market representation of, to a certain extent, Bitcoin's adoption and acceptance in, I guess we'd say, the real world, right? So guys, don't get sucked into the hopium. Okay, I know it's easy to get sucked into the hopium, but this is how, unfortunately, this is how noobs end up buying Bitcoin, right? On days like that when the price pumps, because they think, oh my God, that's it. We're going straight to 60K. It's then after that 100K, then 250K. Guys, this thing does not go up in a straight line. Okay, adoption is not just directly straight up. Okay, it's just not how it works. All right, so zoom out. Build your own conviction. Nothing wrong with reading the news, okay? Just make sure that you take it with a grain of salt. And guys, that does it for today's clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you all tomorrow.